They can't give in to us on repealing Obamacare, even though it's an admitted fraud. They can't give in to us on anything like the Second Amendment, even though it's admitted it lowers crime, because then their whole house of cards falls. You pull one or two cards out of here, it goes down. They put on this whole act of invincibility, infallibility, all this power, because what they're doing is very unnatural. The globalists admit many of their own white papers. Their problem is there's so much wealth worldwide and the manufacturing and the industry. We should be working 2 days a week and living like kings. But they want artificial scarcity, and that's what Agenda 21 is. And you ever get the message out to the mainline working class that the left wants to make them poor to control them and then show them where they said it, and that the Republicans want corporations totally above the law to do whatever they want, and you ever bring people together around a populist system of real transparency and real level playing field, it's over for the establishment. And that's what I want to do, is just unify people around common sense. Michael in North Carolina, thanks for calling in. You're on the air.
Hey, Alex, thanks for taking my call. Appreciate you mentioning the fluoride issue, because I think that's probably one of the greatest crimes of the New World Order, and I'll tell you why. As you know, drinking fluoride lowers the intelligence quotient of everyone who drinks it.
That's according to Harvard and the federal government and Time Magazine this week. Again, Time Magazine, actually last Friday, admits fluoride has brain damaged the country. But, again, why do you think that came out? Because you can't hide it anymore. Go ahead.
Right, and I don't think people really grasp how significant that is, because when the population's IQ has been dropped by even 5 or 10 points, how many inventions does that represent? That
the literal value of the country goes down.
Right, exactly. And then the other issue is, you know, you're talking about consciousness and our human experience. Well, you know, water is so important to that, because on a molecular level, we're like 70 to 90% water.
I know, Mandrake. And now they put it in kids' ice cream. I mean, the fluoride. I run into people all the time. I ran into some last night who were big liberals who lived in San Francisco and heard the show many years ago and woke up and woke up others and said most of the former liberals they knew aren't conservatives now. They're just more libertarians. And that's it. I mean, you just want freedom, and you believe in individual freedom, and you don't follow this orthodoxy of whatever the Republicans or the Democrats say. And all the numbers show that is the real future. Now, they've got the new host of The Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon, and Michelle Obama, or the Late Night Show, and Michelle Obama was on there calling young people, quote, knuckleheads. And it's all this joke of, you know, we've got knuckleheads out there that have got to be, you know, dealt with because they get at a party and cut their finger and they're dancing around bleeding. You know, these lazy young people, they don't have their health care. And it's always authoritarian blobs that count on the young people to join the military and go be put in a meat grinder, or who they count on going to buy the Obamacare, that, oh, it's a really good deal. Yeah, it's only 5 times what it would have been a few years ago for you to buy it at the age of 18. But they don't know. And it's just an absolute screw job for young people, inducting them, just like they get young people to go buy college, you know, tuition and, you know, go pay for a college degree. In most cases, it's worthless nowadays. It's like you're going to college to learn how to build buggy whips or something right before the automobile's invented. It's just the whole world's changing. The charged politics of late-night TV, Politico reports. That is just some of the news that we're getting to, the changed politics. D.C. is now a safe zone on new Tonight Show. That's right, with Michelle Obama. And here she is talking about the knucklehead moron constituents. At least she didn't go as far as the head of Facebook, Zuckerberg, calling his users, yeah, they trust us. They're a bunch of dumb effers. It's all very funny to him. This is a whole world in crisis, an incredibly decadent, decaying society. with a bunch of hardworking middle-class and blue-collar folks being squeezed, with a bunch of welfare people and socialists and criminals on one side, and a bunch of rich elites that got rich most of the time off government contracts and insider deals, waging war against any independent money so they can have a monopoly as they destroy the only engine they've got of any productivity. And I mean, every form of tyranny on steroids, metastasizing at light year speed. 800-259-9231 is the toll-free number to join us. Now, we're going to take these calls quick. Get ready. DC calling from Canada. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Loud and clear.
Fantastic. So your first point was their greatest crimes. I mean, their lies are just so big. They're so bold. They're so unrepentant and so pervasive. I mean, it's like you always say, it's a scientifically designed system for total control. I have a hard time putting my finger on their biggest crime.
I think it is shuttering human potential and poisoning the food and water supply to create a poison fog of soft kill to control us. I tend to think that last caller was correct. So they could then sell aborting our next generation, and then 2 + 2 = 5, Common Core. I mean, their greatest crime is their mindset to dumb us down ahead of extermination.
I live as underground as possible without actually being a hermit in the woods. I don't watch commercial television, and I'm not what they would call a good consumer. My plan for the near future is a sailboat in the Cook Islands. And that kind of ties into your third question, you know, what do we see for the future? Well, I've pretty much lost all hope for the average Joe out there. They're so dumbed and so numbed that I have a hard time mustering the energy to wake people up anymore. I spent 10 years waking people up around me, and I just kind of burnt out. You know, I one-on-one people every once in a while if they seem receptive, but I just can't get out there and do it anymore. I just got so tired and so burnt out, and it just makes me so sad to just bump up against the zombies.
Well, that's why it's fun to run around at night sticking bumper stickers up everywhere, climb up power poles with a baseball bat and beat up cameras. I'm not saying people should do that. I just had a dream where you get really energized when you do that. Then I had to wipe the mud off my boots, but from the dream. But the point is that I understand it's very frustrating when you really know what's going on. You know you're right. You've read all their own admissions. You see it, and then people laugh at you. But here's what's going to happen: you're going to have people go to reservations by themselves, their own towns, their own cities, their own areas where people do farm, they do ranch, they do barter, they do value freedom. And you're going to then have such prosperity in those areas. Texas isn't perfect, but it's kind of a microcosm of that compared to California, to where all those that have already zombied and pillaged their area will then come to your area. And there's going to have to be the free association of saying in these new liberty towns that, no, you cannot come here. There is no welfare here. There is no tattletale squads here. There is no gun control here. And they're going to try to then basically use the votes of the larger states and federal government to try to veto us having freedoms. But great call. Bottom line, D.C., how do you see it all ending in your gut?
Well, not well, at least for large portions of North America. I mean, if Texas ever secedes, I will be the first one on the shores swearing my allegiance to your Constitution. I guarantee it.
Well, I hear you. It's quite a vision of the future. I appreciate your call. It's well known by all mainline historians, geopolitical analysts, politicians, statesmen, that pure democracy is the, quote, great howl of democracy, is what the founders called it, because you can get the mob all hyped up by some propagandist, and they can get 51% to claim or have election fraud that we're going to take your property, or we're going to chop all your heads off like the French Revolution. In a republic, you have a democracy that's limited, where you elect representatives who then have courts that are over them and executive branches that are separated. So there's a separation of power, due process, and you've got to follow the rule of law. And that itself is fraught with peril if you don't have an active, informed population. But in a democracy, 51% will vote themselves the property, the rights and liberties of the other group. And you will have politicians who will promise them that for their votes. I mean, that's a fact. And Ross Story tries to act like that myself and Phyllis Schlafly, constitutional lawyer, were having some hallucination or something. Like we were talking about, the Mad Hatter and the Tea Party or something. Like it was just incoherent gibbering that, man, look at these crazy people. They claim the system, and they quote us, want to bring in a huge new voting bloc who will then vote to bring in total socialism to transfer wealth to themselves. Have you ever heard of something that crazy? That's like saying that if you stuck your hand in a blender and turned it on, you'd get cut. I mean, symbols are powerful, and the globalists have hijacked the symbols of America. They've turned them into their own symbols. Well, we are restoring the idea of the true republic, not the counterfeit globalist empire, by promoting the icon George Washington and others. That's why we're rolling out an 100% made in America line of incredible pro-liberty apparel. We are repopularizing liberty. We are helping fellow Americans rediscover what made this country great. We are the spirit of 1776. We are 1776 worldwide. We are all brothers and sisters in arms in the animating contest of liberty in the long march towards humanity's ultimate destiny of freedom. Visit madein1776.com today and vote with your dollars to promote truly made in America, high quality products, and promote the ideals of liberty.